Okay, today we're going to be discussing how to make that 18-gallon grow box that you saw in the background. This is one that everybody's always asking. They really like the 18-gallon over the 5-gallon because there's a lot more produce you can grow in it. Okay, and not only that, it's got a much bigger reserve for water in the bottom. Okay, so I also recommend that you get the Rubbermaid brand and get the one that's UV resistant, since it will be sitting outside for a while. You can even paint the outside if you want to. That can also help in the long run. That was all part of the lid, and what I did is I cut the middle out so that I can make the platform on the bottom. Okay, and you notice that the rim, how it fits together. That rim right there can be used to snap in place over the plastic that you're going to be using to block the weeds and to hold in the moisture. Now we've discussed how to cut the lid so that you can have a platform on the bottom. You're also going to notice that the inside of the tub has these ridges. Okay, these ridges right here will not allow that base to be pushed down without doing damage to it. So what I had to do is, you notice that there are notches that I cut out. I'm pointing at it right now. You cut those out so that it basically allows that platform to fold without doing a lot of damage to the rest of the platform, cracking all the way through towards the middle. I've done that in the past. So this is the safest way to preserve the integrity of that platform. If you notice the bottom, of course you can see better the aeration holes, but you notice that the tubes that I'm using, they have notches on the bottom. This allows water to get into the tubing. Okay, I'm using zip ties to hold it in place. Now, those particular ones that have the holes there, that's the wicking chamber. All right, it's very important that you take the time to do these notches and make them relatively big. Now, I don't worry about covering it up with some kind of screening. Some people do. I don't mind a little bit of soil getting into the chamber, but it's up to you to do that if you want to or not. Okay. Make sure that you have 2 more tubes in the center. Very important. I recommend you also zip tie them to the bottom of that platform. Okay, don't just let them sit in the bottom chamber. But you can get away with it. Just keep in mind that they can shift around, and you don't have the stability that you're really looking for if you're wanting that accuracy of, I want this section holding weight. If you notice, I'm pressing down on it. If you don't do this in time, that center will collapse. It will crack, and then basically it's a failure. Okay, and that can happen after 2 or 3 years. I want you to take notice that the circumference of the hole I made for the wicking chamber is actually smaller than the circumference of the tubes I used for the wicking chamber. That is so that the tubes can actually rest on the platform and help hold the weight of the potting mix. You're going to want to then measure the distance between the bottom of the tub to the bottom of the platform. Take that measurement on the outside, mark where the hole is going to be at, and then drill your hole. That will be the overflow of the water. You also want to take note that I also cut a hole so that the 1-inch water fill tube can fit inside there, nice and snug. All right, and I like to have it on the left side or the right side with these particular things. I don't like them in the front, but it's really up to you. I like to see uniformity between all my rows. All my pipes will be on the left side or the right side, and all the holes are looking straight at me. Okay? Take note of the location of the wicking chambers. They're opposite sides of each other in corners. This particular wick will wet this side of the box, and this one will wet that side of the box as the chamber is filled with moisture. You don't want them on the same side. If you have them on, let's just say, the southern portion of the box, the northern portion won't get as much moisture as it could. I'm going to show you an example of how to set up your plants with your grow box. We'll just say this one's going to be tomatoes. I will grow the tomatoes in the back, and in the front I will grow a companion plant. I always grow basil. Basil helps promote good health for the tomato, and it also helps improve the flavor of the tomato. Since I know that I'm going to be using fruit or vegetables on both edges, I know to put the food in the center. And I dig a trench, and when I dig the trench, I will put 3 cups of organic plant food in it. And then I will cover it back up with the potting mix. If you're not going to grow any companion vegetables in with the tomatoes, then the part where you would put the basil, you will put your plant food there.